husband and father tragically takes his own life.
The victim still had a .22 caliber revolver in his hands.
Maybe he just had enough of the pain, you know?
But an unexpected confession reveals there's much more to the story.
No, this is not what I saw.
And it's up to Kenda and his team to uncover a cache of secrets and lies.
I knew that Charlie was having an affair.
She burns through that $10,000 just in a few months.
Is this something that could push somebody over their edge to commit murder? You bet it is.
Families appear a certain way to casual acquaintances. They were the nicest people. They were quiet. But you never, ever know what goes on in a private home when the doors are closed and the lights are off. There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved. Somebody has to look out for the victim. If you kill, I will find you.
It's a busy summer night for Colorado Springs. EMTs Mark McDonald and Mark Bruning are responding to a call at a residence near Palmer Park on the city's east side.
Once we got there at the PD, we're already on scene, and so our part of our job is to go in and actually assess the patient.
Where's the patient? He's in the master bedroom.
All right. It's kind of surreal, to tell you the truth, because you're thrown immediately into this chaotic scene.
Up here, up here.
When we first walked into the room, there was a gentleman with an obvious gunshot wound.
Is he gonna be okay?
But it was pretty well obvious at that time that this gentleman was deceased. Nothing.
Several miles away, Sergeant Joe Kenda is already waist deep in an unrelated investigation.
Did the suspect make a statement?
No, not yet. But he had a bloody knife on him. I think it's a murder weapon.
It's after 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm at the scene of a homicide. Crime never sleeps, crime never takes a day off, and everybody seems to like the cover of darkness.
The coroner's on his way. Great.
Dispatch to 4-1.
Go for 4-1.
We have a report of a shooting near Palmer Park. First responders are saying they believe it's self-inflicted.
The initial report was this is probably a suicide, and I decided to remain at my current crime scene and send one of my detectives and report back to me.
Within the hour, Kenda has dispatched one of his detectives to the residence near Palmer Park.
Good evening, Detective.
Hey, what do we got here?
39-year-old male, single gunshot wound to the head. Appears to be self-inflicted.
They had identified him as an individual named Charlie Tuttle, who actually...
Before I met Charlie, he was a staff sergeant in the Air Force, and he worked in electronics, repairing and calibrating flight simulators. He was always perceived as a very honest and trustworthy person.
Looks like the wife, stepdaughter, and the neighbor discovered him in the bedroom. We cut the neighbors loose. He didn't know anything.
Okay. And where's the body?
Upstairs in the bedroom.
Lead the way.
the master bedroom, Mr. Tuttle is laying face down on the bed.
The family found him like this?
Yes, sir.
On initial examination of the scene, detectives noted that, in fact, the victim still had a .22 caliber in his hands.
And there was a single entry gunshot wound to the back of the head, and there is no exit.
What an odd way to shoot yourself.
Most gun suicides, the person is sitting erect and the gun is fired into the temple. It's extremely uncommon to see someone lie on their stomachs and shoot themselves in the back of the head.
Anyone touch that shotgun?
No, it was positioned there when we arrived.
And this particular shotgun had string wrapped around the trigger.
Someone trying to rig a weapon so they can cause it to discharge by aiming at themselves. He rigs this gun and then apparently changes his mind. And decides to use a handgun instead.
As investigators examine the rest of the bedroom, the evidence continues to line up with that theory.
Looks like somebody kicked the door in.
This is the only entry into the room.
There's a shoe print on the door next to the door handle assembly.
Witnesses claim that they broke the door in after they heard the gunshot.
We have an individual who was depressed and actually locked himself in the bedroom, climbed into bed, and shot himself. That's a pretty good possibility at this point.
To confirm that possibility, investigators need to see if witnesses' stories lead to the same conclusion.
Well, let's go talk to the family. If he killed himself, maybe they can tell us why.
They then speak to the wife of the victim, whose name is Jackie Tuttle. She's 42 years of age.
Mrs. Tuttle, I'm so sorry for your loss. Do you mind answering a few questions?
Jackie is kind of quiet, soft-spoken. She worked for a real estate company, and she had been married to Charles for about 14 years. He was actually her second husband.
Do you and Charlie have any kids together?
No. I have 2 grandchildren from my first marriage. My older daughter, Jennifer, she lives back in Texas with her father.
She says the evening progressed in a normal manner, except for the fact that Charlie was drinking heavily during dinner.
Now, how much alcohol did Charlie consume?
I don't know, like 10 beers and some whiskey.
Jackie reports to the officers that her husband seemed to be very distressed after dinner and continued to drink and said he was going to bed.
So around midnight, Sarah and I went down and put a movie in downstairs. That's when we heard the gunshot. I'm sorry. I can't breathe. I can't.
It's okay. Thank you.
And that's when she became so distressed and she could not continue conversing with the officers because of her emotional state.
Hoping to learn why Charlie was distressed, investigators turned to Jackie's daughter, 19-year-old Sarah Reynolds.
Excuse me, Sarah. Do you have a moment to answer a few questions?
They ask her to describe the events of the evening, separate from her mother, and she tells precisely the same story.
So after dinner, Charlie went to bed. And Mom and I watched a movie in the living room.
Please be with me.
And it was about 1:30 when she heard a loud bang.
What was that?
Charlie!
We went upstairs, but his door was locked. We tried to force the door to open, but it wouldn't budge.
And her mother said, go get the neighbor, he can help us. And she did that.
The neighbor came over and kicked the door in, and that's when we found him on the bed.
I know this is difficult, Sarah, but can you think of any reason that Charlie may have wanted to end his life?
Yeah. He was just so different since the accident.
About a year earlier, he'd been in a very serious car accident.
Come here, honey. Come here, let me help you. Please, here, let's get this out of the way.
He was struck from behind by another car. It injured Charlie's neck and caused him pain in his neck and upper back.
His personality changed after that. He was so down about everything. Constantly called out of work.
He became more depressed. He drank more. Now, all of that put together certainly sounds like someone who may be willing to end their days.
After dinner, he was complaining that his neck hurt. Maybe he just had enough of the pain. You know?
Yeah. Once again, I'm truly sorry for your loss.
Hours later, Sergeant Kenda requests a status report on Charlie Tuttle's case.
We found it odd that he shot himself in the back of the head, but all of the evidence that we found at the scene is consistent with suicide.
So what's the coroner think?
Here's the report.
By law, the coroner determines the method of death and the manner.
Okay, thank you.
The coroner's office is fully informed of the details about Charlie's recent history and his motor vehicle accident and his depression, and the coroner rules it as a suicide, and the matter is closed, or so everyone thought.
6 months later, an unexpected visitor shows up at CSPD.
Sarah Reynolds? All right, have a seat. Someone will be with you in just a moment.
Thank you.
When someone comes into police headquarters and has to speak to someone in homicide, they are directed to a supervisor, which in that case was me.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Kenda. Is there something I can help you with? She had a pretty forlorn look on her face and was somewhat quiet.
The body language suggests that maybe she just wants to leave and is sorry she came in here.
It's all right. Anything you need to tell us, it'll be okay.
Well, my stepfather, Charlie Tuttle, he died 6 months ago in our house.
Okay.
And she looked at me and she said, well, I told a story to the policeman about how my stepdad killed himself.
But I was lying.
Oh my. Well, this is getting interesting. A 39-year-old man named Charlie Tuttle is believed to have shot himself in the privacy of his locked bedroom. Now it's 6 months later, and the young lady has come forward to say she lied, that none of what she said to the police was true.
Okay, why don't you start from the beginning?
So, the night he died, I helped my mom make dinner.
Hey, honey, can you grab me the parsley?
What's all this?
Something special for Charlie.
Jackie had actually picked up a bottle of Crown Royal whiskey, some cigars, and a fishing magazine.
Wow, Mom.
Right?
And Sarah thought that was kind of unusual because Jackie and Charlie had been arguing quite a bit lately.
And she suspected the marriage was coming to an end.
I thought it was her way of showing him she still loved him and wanted to make things work. And then when Charlie came home, he was in such a good mood.
Oh, wow. It's not my birthday.
No?
Oh, are you making
Your famous meatballs? She said he was quite surprised and happy to see them fixing a nice meal for dinner.
And when we sat down to dinner, Mom and Charlie were reminiscing about old times.
This looks great.
Does the sauce taste funny to you?
No, I think it's fine.
I think the horseradish went bad. Yes.
He didn't care for the shrimp cocktail, but he certainly ate everything else and drank his beer as he normally did.
Could you pass me that garlic bread, please?
We had a really nice evening. And then Mom wanted to watch a movie. But Charlie said he's going to bed to read his fishing mag.
Do you remember what time that was?
No, I just remember the movie started and I must have totally passed out.
And that struck me. I passed out? Why did you pass out? Were you drinking?
No, I just remember feeling so tired all of a sudden. I couldn't keep my eyes open. And then I woke up around 1:30.
The house was quiet. The movie was on pause.
Her mother, Jackie, wasn't there, and so she's sitting there on the couch. And she heard this loud boom from upstairs.
Mom?
Her mother shooting from the bath towel is a gun.
Honey, I need you to stay calm, okay?
But what did you do?
Honey, I did it for his own good.
According to Sarah, she says, you know that Charlie's been in a lot of pain, and if anybody asked you, he did it to himself.
Now, I need you to take this towel and put it in the basement. Take it.
And she puts the gun on the bed next to Charlie's hand, and then walks out and locks the door behind them and says, now go get the neighbor to force the door open. So I listened to Sarah's story. I said, well, Sarah, I must ask you the obvious question.
All right, but this was 6 months ago. Why you just bring it to us now?
Because I was scared. My mom threatened to kill me if I said anything.
But she told him that I'm coming in to tell the truth because I have so much guilt.
I can't sleep. I have nightmares about it.
Do you have any idea why your mother wanted to kill Charlie?
Yeah, she's greedy.
She said he had a $49,000 insurance policy, and she wanted that money.
And she got it too.
Perhaps in her mother's mind, she had 49,000 reasons to kill Charlie.
So, you're going to reopen his case?
We're definitely going to look into it and keep in touch. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
You must take people seriously when they tell you a story. Do you trust what they say? Of course not. Let's explore your story. So my first step is to go to the coroner's office. I inform the coroner of the new development, and the coroner agrees to review the report.
So I looked over all the reports again. This is extremely unusual.
Indeed. So what do you think?
Well, I did notice one thing. The witnesses claim that Mr. Tuttle had been drinking heavily. But that's not what we're seeing in his toxicology results.
The blood alcohol content of Charlie was 0.01. That is not even legally impaired, let alone drunk.
That is strange. Well, after looking through everything, are you still confident it's suicide?
You know, there's nothing in the report that contradicts suicide. But it is odd that he shot himself in the back of the head.
That's very uncommon.
I vaguely remember there was something else I found fishy. But that was like 40 autopsies ago. I don't remember now. I'll read through my notes again and see if I can figure out what it is.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Doc.
With the coroner's report inconclusive, Kenda's gut tells him to keep digging.
Mr. Wade, I'm Sergeant Kenda. Thanks for meeting me.
Glad to help however I can.
So Joe took an unusual step, and that was to contact
the funeral director who embalmed the body of Charlie.
I said, well, in my experience, I've seen over 100 gunshot wounds to the head from people who killed themselves.
There was something that just wasn't quite right about this one. I actually remember it quite well.
Let's see what we got here.
What was the cause of death?
Suicide. Gunshot to the back of the head.
Really? If you put a gun to your head, it is extremely difficult to get a 90-degree contact. You're up, you're down, you're this way, that way, left and right. The result is the entrance wound itself is not round. It's shaped differently.
And when I looked at the hole on the inside of the skull, it was much larger, but still symmetrical. Most of the time, you don't get a perfect 90-degree angle.
He said, at that point in time, I was suspicious that this was, in fact, not a suicide, but he went on with the embalming anyway.
There's not much that surprises me in this business, but this one did.
Well, thank you. You've been very helpful.
So this evidence is adding up nicely to murder and not suicide. And with that, we decided to reopen the case.
His widow at her new home.
So we want to go see Jackie now because I've got a lot more information other than just Sarah's allegations. I know the physical evidence says that Charlie didn't shoot himself.
Do you guys take anything in your coffee?
No, just black, thank you. I wouldn't mind some sugar if that's okay.
Sure.
The first thing we noticed is very sparse. Very little furniture, very neat, very clean.
Where are all the family photos?
There are no pictures of her husband, almost sterile, if you will.
It is very odd to have a personal home that contains no evidence of memorabilia of your family. So there's something already quite odd about Jackie.
So, what do you guys want to talk about?
Well, your daughter Sarah stopped you at the prison.
She did? Why?
We tell her. Your daughter came to report that you killed your husband and swore her to secrecy.
She's lying. It's an absolute lie.
Now, Mrs. Tuttle, why would your daughter make up a story like that?
It's obvious. She wants more money.
And we looked at her and we said, excuse me, what do you mean by more money? So we're investigating this suicide of Charlie Tuttle, which has now become a homicide based on physical evidence and based on the fact that the daughter accuses the mother of having committed this murder.
And Jackie tells Joe, oh, she's lying. She only wants more money. Well, more money, what does that mean?
I guess the trouble started with Sarah when Charlie passed away.
She said there was a life insurance policy that was worth $49,000. I received the $49,000. I felt guilty about having all that money. And Sarah, who was a starving beauty college student, had no money.
I gave her 10 grand to finish school. I wanted to help her. I wanted her to get on her own 2 feet for once.
Sarah was the kind of kid where she'd never really had to go out and earn a living.
You know, I guess my daughter's a bit of a sponge.
So what's all this have to do with Sarah saying you killed your husband?
Like I said, she wanted more of Charlie's insurance money.
Jackie tells Joe that she burns through that $10,000 just in a few months. And she's already back asking for more with her hand out.
So she was threatening for the money?
No, she wasn't threatening. She was just asking weird questions about the insurance policy.
Like what?
She said, Sarah's been talking a lot about the insurance and who the beneficiary actually was. Jackie felt that was somewhat suspicious.
She says, I'm sure that Sarah believes if I get arrested for this and I go to prison, she'll wind up with the rest of the money.
While Kendra knows that life insurance payouts don't work that way, it's entirely possible that Sarah doesn't.
Thank you for talking to us, and thanks for the coffee.
Sure. You know, I hope this gets sorted out quickly, and I'm really sorry my daughter dragged you into this.
We'll let ourselves out.
We decide we're leaving. We have no intention of arresting Jackie at this point.
Well, that was interesting.
It sure was.
And all the way back to the car looking at each other like, how did we get involved in this?
Hey, when you get time, can you look into Tuttle's insurance policy?
Yeah, we'll do.
In the meantime, I want to find out more about Jackie and Sarah.
Good idea. I mean, even if Sarah is as greedy as Jackie says, would she really do that to her mom?
Right.
It's incredible that you find a family like this in a situation like this 6 months after the event. So how do you decide that the daughter is so vindictive will try to put her mother in prison over something her mother didn't do? How does that work? Well, I don't know because I'm not crazy.
Hoping to learn more about Jackie and Sarah's relationship, Kenda's team tracks down someone close to the family.
We discover a mutual friend whose name is Barbara Levitt.
I'm Detective Kenda.
What can I do for you, Detective?
So you're friends with Jackie Tuttle?
Yeah, I know Jackie. I've known her since 11th grade. Back when we lived in Texas. Almost 25 years. I didn't think I was that old.
I'm sure flies, don't it? Do you know her daughters?
Oh yeah, I've known Jennifer and Sarah since they were born.
So we have not just a friend, but a really good friend who should have some insight into these people.
So what can you tell us about Jackie and Charlie's relationship?
Jackie met Charlie in Texas. She was still married to Edward.
She was living in a very contentious relationship with her husband, wanted out of that, and she felt Charlie would be her way out.
So Jackie divorced Edward and married Charlie.
According to Barbara, Jackie followed her new husband all the way to Colorado Springs.
So what happened with the girls? Sarah and Jennifer, right?
Those poor girls. They ended up going and staying with their dad. I mean, Sarah took it the hardest. She was only 3 or 4. She just didn't understand.
Barbara indicated that Sarah has resented her mother her entire life.
You know, here's somebody that's supposed to love you more than anything, and here she is not only leaving the family, but moving far away. She's basically abandoning you.
I think that's why Sarah's been a little bit of a troublemaker.
What do you mean?
You know, psychology. Sarah's childhood's warped her mind. She was always around conflict. You know, first her parents, then Jackie and Charlie.
Really? What'd they fight about?
Well, they fight about money. A lot of couples fight about money.
And I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but...
She said, well, I knew that Charlie was having an affair.
An affair?
Yeah. He had a girlfriend. Jackie was devastated.
So Jackie leaves her husband and her 2 children for the love of her life. And now, the love of her life has a girlfriend. Now that's a motive for murder. So in this investigation of the death of Charlie Tuttle, we've come a long way. And now we learn that there's an affair involved, which really puts the emotions on edge.
They had some pretty bad arguments over this woman. Charlie swore he wasn't cheating on her.
Why did Jackie think he was having an affair?
She says that she had found some notes between Charlie and this woman called Betsy. And so Jackie was convinced that he was going to leave her for Betsy.
Is this something that could push somebody over their edge to commit murder? You bet it is.
We've got to find somebody else that may know about that. And we determined that Charlie had a best friend. And we want to know what that friend knows about the affair.
Excuse me, Hugh Hines?
Yes, sir.
I'm Sergeant Kenda. We talked on the phone. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Charlie and I worked together for nearly 7 years at the power station. He was an excellent mentor to me.
Can you tell me about Charlie?
He was very generous, very outgoing, real outdoorsman.
His passion was fishing. He really studied the subject, and he was very good at it.
I also heard he was in a bad accident. Was he depressed about that?
No, I don't think so. He's depressed about his marriage.
We were close enough where we shared and Charlie were having difficulties in their relationship.
Was Charlie planning on leaving her?
Yeah, he was just trying to figure out how to get his retirement funds out first.
I'm not sure if these were exactly Charlie's words, but the message was I have had it. I'm just taking my dog, my guns, and I'm going to Alaska.
Alaska?
Mm-hmm.
Was he going with someone?
No, Charlie just wanted to be alone.
We say, well, Hugh, we hear a story that maybe Charlie was having an affair with some woman named Betsy.
No way, man. He wasn't having an affair with Betsy.
Charlie and Betsy were friends. There was certainly no sexual relationship. Charlie never did anything except work and fish.
Charlie, as a matter of fact, had told Jackie that he was just fed up with her and he was going to move out and divorce her. Just because he wanted away from Jackie.
Well, I appreciate the help.
Absolutely.
So what do we do now? Charlie was apparently planning on leaving his wife and taking his money and going to Alaska. Instead, he winds up with a bullet in his head. All signs point to Jackie. What we need now is the proof.
Kenda decides it's time to go back to the very beginning.
I want to talk to the first person who entered that home after the shooting.
Sarge, Eric, Fillmore's here to see you.
Come on, have a seat.
The neighbor who kicked down Charlie's door.
Thanks for coming in.
Sure. What can I help you with?
Can you walk me through what happened the night Charlie Tuttle died?
Okay. Well, I was sleeping and Sarah came over and woke me up. And she said Charlie hurt himself.
I was in a fog of sleep, waking up, I was like, what? Basically, she just wanted me to come over and check it out.
He goes with her over to the house. Jackie's on her knees in the hallway, crying hysterically. He tries the door. It is, in fact, locked.
I think she encouraged me, can you break it in? I said, okay.
Charlie? Stay back. Stay back.
At that point,
Charlie?
I smelled gun smoke. I could visually see a haze in the room.
And then I saw the blood and the gun. I ran downstairs and called 911.
It's burned in my brain, I would say. In my mind's eye, I can glimpse the metal of the gun, his head, and the blood.
I've got some crime scene photos. Would you mind taking a look at them?
Yeah, sure. No, this is not what I saw.
That's not the way I found it. It was different in the photo than how I came upon the scene. I entered the bedroom. You tell that there was somebody in the bed.
Charlie!
But the comforter was pulled all the way up.
Charlie!
Now, if you're going to shoot yourself, would you hide under a blanket to do it? No. But if you kill somebody and you don't want to look at them when they're dead and feel the guilt, you cover them up. Well, my. That's important.
Even with Eric Fillmore's statement, Kenda's case against Jackie Tuttle is weak. As he's pondering how to strengthen it, a possible solution surfaces.
Hey, Sarge, remember when you told me to check into Charlie's insurance policy? You're gonna like this.
He confirmed that Jackie did receive $49,000 from the insurance company, paid her daughter Sarah $10,000, and they have bank deposits into Sarah's account of $10,000.
Okay, but Jackie already told us that.
Yeah, but you know what's strange is her other daughter, Jennifer, didn't get a penny.
Why would the mother give money to one daughter, not the other?
Were you buying her silence for your $10,000?
You know where Sarah currently lives?
Yeah, I'll get your address.
Thanks.
So we go to find her, and we find that she's living with her grandmother, Debbie.
Thank you.
Can I get you anything else?
No, thank you. So, Sarah, one thing that's been bothering us is why would your mother give you money for the life insurance and not your sister?
And Sarah was dumbstruck that we knew that. She just looked at us. She had nothing to say. Nothing.
I think it was to keep Sarah's mouth shut.
Creamy.
What do you mean with that?
Debbie went on to say that the day before the shooting took place, she had gotten a phone call from Jackie.
Hello?
Hey, Mom. Are you busy? No, I just got home from work. What's going on?
Debbie is a nurse, and her daughter Jackie wanted to know if she combined a sleeping agent called Restoril with alcohol, would that make somebody really sleepy? Would it make them fall very, very soundly asleep?
Oh. Yeah, but you really shouldn't mix those. Why are you asking?
I'm just curious. Actually, Mom, I'm sorry, I gotta go. There's someone at the door.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. It was a very, very odd phone call.
And when she made that comment to me, I'm thinking back to the story about the family dinner.
I just remember feeling so tired all of a sudden. I couldn't keep my eyes open.
That Charlie didn't eat the cocktail sauce because he thought it tasted funny.
The unusual way. On July 22nd, 1990, Kenda wonders, did Jackie mix Restoril into the cocktail sauce in order to put her victim and a potential eyewitness into a deep sleep?
But does Jackie have access to that drug?
Charlie's doctor prescribed it for him after his car accident to help him fall asleep easier.
Jackie, you thought you were going to walk, but you're not. Because we're going to walk over to your house and take you to jail. After this long, prolonged investigation, all the information that we have learned adds up circumstantially to the guilt of Jackie Tuttle. We're going to place her in custody for the death of her husband.
Over the next couple hours, Kenda and his team hit the streets.
Maybe we'll find Jackie about 11:30 that night in a local watering hole.
What are you guys doing here?
Jackie have a warrant for the arrest for the murder of Charles Tuttle.
You can't be serious.
Cuff it. Show the thing.
Sarah is lying. She just wants the money.
And I looked at her and I said, well, Jackie, you have a problem.
And she wasn't the only one telling us that.
But I didn't do it.
That's not what the evidence says.
So we're going to take you in front of a jury of your peers and let them decide about your future. Come with us.
And Jackie got real silent and looked at Joe and said, I want a lawyer. She was taken into custody, taken to the county jail and booked.
Even without a confession, Kenda believes he knows what transpired.
In my opinion, based on what I've learned, I think that Jackie knew her husband was going to leave her.
Kenda theorizes that at that point, Jackie hatched a plan to stage her husband's suicide and collect a 5-figure insurance payout.
She asked her own mother, the nurse, how to devise some sort of drug to make him fall asleep.
But she also needed a drug plan.
This looks great. Huh. I think the horseradish went bad.
So she served the Restoril in his favorite food, shrimp cocktail. But she didn't realize the drug would leave a weird taste in the sauce. And Charlie didn't eat anything that contained the drug, and that's why his toxicology screens came back negative.
However, Sarah finished her portion, and when she passed out on the couch, Jackie decided it was now or never.
Jackie quietly went up to Charlie's room and grabbed a towel and a handgun. To her dismay, Jackie sees that Charlie has fallen asleep on his stomach and realizes it will be suspicious if he shoots himself in the back of the head.
Jackie knows if she tries to roll him over, he might wake up. Then how is she going to explain this gun in her hand?
And she realizes there is no turning back. And she points the gun at his head. And pulls the trigger.
And then she went to work, staging the bedroom to look like a suicide.
Everything about this crime scene is not a spontaneous thing. She thought about it and carried it out.
Jackie Tuttle is charged with first-degree murder. Her daughter, Sarah Reynolds, is not charged with any crime.
Unfortunately, you never can predict what's going to happen during the trial. And Jackie's mother took the stand and recanted a lot of the information that she had given before.
In the court, you need proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So now the jury is left with making a decision. Who's lying? Everybody's lying. And they found Jackie not guilty of first-degree murder. Charlie went to his grave, and nobody paid the price. It's the reality of the court system. You're innocent until you're proven guilty.
In my opinion, I don't believe Charlie killed himself. I think it was a wrong decision on their part. I think she got away with killing Charlie.
It's just interesting how somebody could be involved in something like that and then go on to live just a very normal, carefree life.
Hi. Wow.
Maybe she has had a really happy life and been able to enjoy all that money that she was so desperate to have.
You've often heard it said that time heals all wounds. Time also heals guilt. People's attitudes, memories, and fearfulness have washed away with time.